Mother Knows Death, starring Nicole and Jemmy and Maria Q. Kane.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Mother Knows Death. We have a very special episode for you today with a guest we talk about frequently, but you may not formally have met yet. My mom, Beth Qualtieri, also known as Mommom on this program. This episode is going to be a little light because you guys know that my mom cries over everything, so we can't talk about anything too upsetting. So we're going to get into we're going to start talking about Jessica Simpson peeing her pants. I'm sure my mom can relate to that. And then we'll talk about the dreaded cruise she made us go on and some incidents that happened on cruise ships this week. Then we'll get into one of her favorite topics, which is butt sniffing.
Oh my God. This is why I have a bad reputation.
Exactly. And then we'll discuss a rather morbid, unexpected finding someone came across by looking for a new home, and what happens when bodies and body parts get misplaced after someone dies. All that and more on today's episode. Let's get started with Jessica Simpson.
All right, so Jessica Simpson performed on the Today Show last week, and I guess during the performance at some point she peed her pants, and this article is acting like this is just totally normal behavior for performers. I guess it makes sense for people who are on tour and can't just like get up in the middle of the song and leave, but I just guess I never really thought about it.
I totally could see that happening because they have to keep hydrated with all their activity on stage, and then sometimes it's just got to come out.
This is what confuses me, I guess. I saw some of the video of her recording, and I didn't see any pee on her clothes. She was wearing a light colored dress. So are they wearing diapers?
Well, the light color probably hid it because, I mean, let's face, if I was a performer and I knew that this could happen, I would have some kind of pad or something on because I sure do not want that to be visible to everyone.
Well, Hugh Jackman said this actually happened to him, and he was saying the muscles you need to release in order to sing are the ones you do not want to release if you have to go. So I guess if you really have to pee and you're in the middle, it's just like, F it, we're doing it.
So we know you have a problem with the opposite end of coming out when you don't want it to. Have you ever had a problem peeing your pants accidentally?
No, I would say I did go through a period like in my 40s where if I sneezed or coughed or, like that kind of thing, I would get a little squirt here and there, but that has resolved itself. I'm happy to report.
Now, I'm curious, did that get better after you had your hysterectomy?
Possibly it would fit the timeline. Yeah, I think I was 38, 39 when I had my hysterectomy.
Yeah, I'm just curious because Jessica Simpson has 3 kids, so I don't know if she had natural childbirth, but she did go through 3 pregnancies, which can stress out the pelvic floor muscles, and that could cause you to have urinary incontinence. I definitely think that I have this for sure because did I ever tell you like sometimes we take the kids to go to the trampoline place and one time I was like, yeah, I want to do it. I like peed my pants. I couldn't even believe it. It was crazy.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I probably still would today with a trampoline. There's no way I'm trying that.
It's like a gross feeling, like this weird gravity feeling that similar to what you get on that ride
like
at
the water
shore?
breaking.
Yeah, it's just like weird. You know that ride at the shore that's like the boat that goes up and down, that gross like diaphragm feeling you get? It's like that kind of like you just feel it like falling. So I don't know. Sometimes I also get like I'll just be standing there and all of a sudden I feel like this drop, like like the similar feeling when you're holding in your pee and you're like, oh my God, I'm going to explode. But it just like comes from 0 to nothing. Or from nothing, and then it goes all the way from like it has to come out this very second without any warning. It's like really bizarre.
Right.
So
yeah, well, I drink a ton of water all day long, and I hardly go to the bathroom. And then at night, it's like not night, in the evening. It's like every 10 to 15 minutes, it's like an urgency like that. I have to run in and go. So it
Really?
must build up or something. I don't know.
My gynecologist told me once a couple years ago, because I told her that I get up all, like, it keeps me awake. I pee so many times during the night, and I don't really even drink that much. And she said,
You and your father.
I'm like a cat. I'm like a cactus. I always say this. I'm just like, some plants need, like, my pain in the ass petunias outside need constant water, but like a cactus you might ignore for 3 months, and they're both living things, and I'm just a human
Right.
cactus, I guess. Wait,
Well,
While we're on
remember we used to call Deanna a camel because she drank so much.
while we're on the subject of pop-up, do you have any funny stories really quick? Because on our YouTube live on
Oh,
Friday, we started getting into some Blueisms and people really enjoyed them.
oh my gosh. Well, did you tell him about like his love notes to me where he'll say, "Yeah, you look really young, but that's just to me. I don't know if other people would think that or not." Or my
I did
niece.
tell them about the him referring to the most beautiful bride he's ever seen, and it's
Oh,
never
yes, that's
like
what I was
his
gonna say.
daughters or his
What
wife.
twice. It was his niece. He said she was the most beautiful bride, and she got married twice, and she said, "Twice."
Wait,
Doesn't Jimmy listen to this? It's your mother, Lenny.
Yeah. Yeah, our cousin. Yeah, exactly. It's our cousin Jimmy, and it's his mom, Lynanne, is
Yeah.
who she's talking about, which is
Not me,
hilarious.
Jimmy,
Well, we're
Lynn.
gonna see them we're gonna see them this weekend, right? Coming up.
Yes.
Yeah,
Saturday.
so we could talk about this over the dinner table.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, we were also what else did he say that was just the most beautiful green eyes, that comment?
Oh, his uncle, yes, had the most beautiful green eyes he ever saw.
Not yours.
He also didn't know what color my eyes were, remember, on my 40th birthday?
Oh my god.
That reminds me of an Elton John song, or actually, like, he means well. He just,
No,
I feel like he has
I had
that same thing.
I recently had lost some weight, and he said, "Oh, you're really looking like you lost weight." And I put my hand on my stomach because it feels so much flatter, and he said, "Yeah, well, you're never gonna lose that."
He's such a jerk.
I guess the funny part is that he's like the sweetest guy ever, and he
Yeah.
absolutely is not intending to hurt your feelings. I feel like he has the same
Clueless.
thing. Yeah. I feel like I kind of have the same thing. Like, what is happening in my brain doesn't come out of my mouth properly, and it could come off as offensive, but like I'm not really trying to be. I don't know.
Can confirm you 100% have the Beth Qualtieri bluntness.
All right, let's get on to this next story. And we could start off because these next two stories actually have to do with incidents that happen on a cruise. So I don't know if you've been listening to our show, how bad we've been hating on you for making us go on that cruise.
The dreaded
for like,
cruise,
for
I
like
know.
months.
Explain to everybody why you made us go on that boat.
Well, neither Daddy or I are really like party people. And we didn't really want to have a 50th anniversary, but we wanted everybody to do something together. And then an opportunity fell in my lap.
Yeah, and let me mention this as well. So we go on, the ship we went on was called Liberty of the Seas or something.
Yes.
So these next two stories involve a ship called Icon of the Seas, which is a newer boat, and it's actually the biggest cruise ship that's currently on the market right now, whatever you would say.
Right.
And I'm looking at this ship, and I'm like, why didn't we go on that ship? That ship looks way better.
Well, it was the dates we had
we
to
were
go.
we were on like the discount ship or something.
No, it was
No,
the
it
dates
was-
we had to go.
And it was to go out of Bayonne.
Okay.
You have a limited, and then you guys only wanted to go for 5 days.
God,
so.
she's such a complainer.
She is, and 5 days was a lot. Although I do have to say, and I think I've said this on this program before, that a very awesome part of this trip was being able to drive to our destination for only an hour, and then getting on the boat fairly quick, and then getting off the boat fairly quick, and being home in an hour. That was like, it was way easier than going to an airport and an airplane. You didn't have to get there like hours early and all this stupid crap.
Right.
So that was
So
actually
going
enjoyable.
home was the best part of the trip, I see.
Well,
No.
just there were a lot of parts that, like, the boat itself was so awesome.
Okay, so both these incidents happened on the Icon of the Seas. Is that the boat you went on with Aunt Jane?
No, I was on the Symphony of the Seas.
Okay, so this is on the Icon of the Seas. So first, I saw this video last night, and I feel like it was an extended cut, and I thought it was a woman, but the reports are saying it was a man. But this guy went in the infinity pool on the Icon of the Seas to get his sunglasses. Witnesses were saying he was doing a handstand in the pool, and when he came up, he got caught on the edge, and he was trying to balance his weight to get back down, but then ended up falling on the other side. It looked like he fell overboard, but apparently he fell in the pool gutter. And if that gutter wasn't there, he would have fallen
Pool
into
gutter.
the children's section below, which would have been even worse.
Oh my gosh. I thought that was a woman too when I saw it.
The reporting says that it's a man, though, so I
Yeah.
don't know. That's what I mean, I guess really all I could see, Maria was saying
Maybe
it
he
looked
had
like
man boobs. I don't know.
I don't know. Maria was saying that I only saw like the lower half of his body that was tipping over, and it did look like this person was wearing a bikini, but like a dude could wear like a banana hammock. It could have been a situation like that, I
Yeah,
suppose.
true. Well, it's a good thing there was a pool gutter there, or God knows what would have happened,
Yeah, I know. It is really weird.
I think the person was doing the handstand to get their sunglasses out of the pool.
Oh, okay, I
Yeah,
see. So
that's
they
what
had
I
to like
thought
go
too.
fully under. Okay, because I was just like, I feel like the whole point of the adult pool is for people not to be doing the annoying things that kids do in a pool, like splashing and like, look what I could do and all this stuff. So
No,
okay,
I don't think
understand.
it was like a trick to show off. Like I, try to grab stuff with my feet,
With
but
your
I guess
toes.
if
That's
you're
what I'm
not
like. This
successful,
person must not be an experienced pool person.
but they did survive with no injuries, so that's very lucky. But in this next case, this is super bizarre. So also I want to note these incidents happened within a couple days of each other, but they were separate voyages. So this one happened before the guy fell out of the pool. But this employee reportedly stabbed another female crew member on the ship and then ended up jumping off the side, and he was not recovered.
That is crazy.
So
Wow.
there's some reports that
Can
it
you
was
picture our waiter?
Yeah. I swear, like, remember when we were at the dinner and the staff did this whole entire, like, weird dance presentation and we were supposed to all stand up and, like, clap for the
No.
staff? And
I
That
thought
was
it was
very
really
weird.
degrading.
I just thought it just was bizarre and it was way too long. I mean, I personally think that was I appreciate that they all live on the ship and they have a special relationship, but I thank them by tipping them. Like I don't feel like I
Right.
need to sit there and stroke their ego or whatever. That
It's
was
one thing if they want to do it, just the way they had them do it on the boat felt like it was like against their will. It was very bizarre.
Yeah.
I don't
mean,
know.
picture you're at work at your job and they're like, okay, now everybody has to go out and dance on the steps.
Well, I
You're
I
probably gonna-
actually did picture that. That's why it was pissing me off because it felt like a hospital I worked at that they used to just do, have these meetings that they were like, well, we found that in this study that patient satisfaction is up when the staff does this and you guys have to do this. And like, it was like
be
very
happy.
corporate.
You have to be happy. You have to cheer. You have to, Yes, I know
And clearly
exactly. I
this
worked
guy
at a
was not
hospital
happy.
too.
Not happy. Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
so what
It's
happened?
like, let me just do my work.
Yeah, exactly. That's and they're worked to the bone there, I'm sure. So it's just like, okay, we don't want to have to learn this choreographed song and dance for these people.
Right,
just-
right.
It's just weird. So
I'm not sure who it benefited, if it was for the benefit of the guest or for the staff. It just was
I think
somewhere
when
in
you
it
get
between.
never
hired-
ended. It never ended.
I think when you get hired on the cruise, like they expect you to be like a worker and mild entertainer in all departments because it's part of the experience. So I think they know this when they're hired going in, but just the way it was, it seemed like horror movie-esque. Like they were just like all dancing
know.
against
It-
their will.
It was like it was like cringy. Like you felt like, ooh, like,
Yeah.
can this be over?
Especially because they're dancing like Gangnam Style, and that song was stuck in my head for like 2 weeks after.
So I don't know if you know this or not, Maria, because like obviously I don't know anything about pop culture or whatever, but is there any kind of reality show that shows what's happening with the cruise life? Like, because it's a very, just talking to our waiter, it's a very different way of living. And I'm surprised that there hasn't been some kind of reality show, because the reason I'm bringing this up is because I've read on a lot of Reddit forums that these two people were actually a couple, and he had
Oh,
and not that that hasn't been reported yet by any legitimate news source as of right now, but it's just an interesting thing because there has to be like people hooking up and stuff all the time because they're always
oh,
together.
sure.
Well,
Yeah.
there's a show on Bravo called Below Deck, but it's really about people working on like yachts,
Yeah,
not
which is
It's like
not
a
cruise lines.
yes,
private. Yeah.
But
yeah.
it's
Yeah.
similar. They're in close quarters. They're all like, I mean, that's a little different because it's such a small staff in comparison, but it's
But they're always
similar.
hooking up.
They are always hooking
Yeah.
up. They're always doing weird stuff. They get pissed by the guest requests and everything. I know a
Yeah.
major point of contention is when guests ask to pull this slide out that goes into the water. I haven't watched that much of it, but
Wait,
No,
that's
I haven't either, but
what's the
it's
slide?
good. I like it.
like they have this slide that could go off the yacht into the ocean or sea wherever they're sailing.
Oh,
But apparently it really pisses off the crew members because it's this whole thing and then the guests only use it for 5 minutes. But I don't know. I guess the major cruise line would have to sign off on it, which I feel like might hurt the business, which is why nobody's done it yet,
Right.
because the private yachts, it's way different.
Right.
So,
yeah, I understand that. So anyway, when we see footage from this particular incident, this is the second time that we see these bright yellow rescue boats in the water next to a cruise ship within a month, right?
yeah.
The other one was with the Disney
Right.
cruise. So that guy got recovered, and apparently there's a video circulating online of them pulling his dead body out of the water, which I'd like to see, to be honest with you, if you can find that, Maria. But
I'll look.
the woman, so apparently they treated the woman on the boat, and she was stabbed in the chest several times. So
Wow.
I don't know if if it was superficial stabs, because they obviously they check you for weapons, even the staff, but there's steak knives and stuff around, so you could definitely kill somebody for sure. But
Oh, sure.
I mean, I don't know where the hell he stabbed her multiple times in the chest that he didn't cause anything that would have required some crazy kind of emergency surgery and blood transfusions and all that stuff. But we did talk about this, that they're able to do small procedures. It's similar kind of to an urgent care center. So they were able to stabilize her and bring her to the hospital. They didn't have
Right.
to, it doesn't appear that they even had to come with a helicopter and remove her from the boat.
Oh, well,
Right.
that's
Maybe
good.
they were just superficial.
Yeah, the whole
No,
thing
I
is weird.
saw something about cruise ships. It was a Columbo show, and they did it all on. It was filmed right on a real cruise ship with
Oh,
people
really?
and all. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Well, do you know CrimeCon does a crime cruise?
Oh
I'm
yes.
kind of interested in it. I think because I do
Oh,
love.
okay. Now you're interested.
Well,
Okay.
yes, because CrimeCon's so much fun and awesome, and it's just like
I would
just
be
being
into that
busy with the
too.
conference all day, and just hanging around with all the people on the boat would
Yeah.
be cool. It just would be like a
I
little bit
just
of a
wouldn't tell
different
Daddy it was
situation.
CrimeCon. He wouldn't. He
He
wouldn't
wouldn't
know.
even notice. Just be like, "Oh, I'll be back," and he'll be like, "Okay, okay."
You
I'll
are
be
the
in the
only
casino.
person on the trip that complained about being seasick, and you're gonna go on the crime cruise and be seasick and then do a
Me?
lecture. Yeah, you could. The first day you were like, I am so dizzy.
I was so dizzy. I felt like I was drunk, but I didn't complain about
Because
being
you
sick.
preemptively took Dramamine.
I took drugs and stuff. Yeah, I
I
did. I
had to
took
the first day
whatever
too.
they were.
I was fine until I went up on the upper deck and was like seeing the ocean like actively. I was like, ugh.
Yeah, it was a really weird experience. Like I didn't feel sick at all. I just felt like I was drunk. It was so weird.
I was more dizzy when we got home for 2 days because I guess there's that mild motion the entire time. So when
Oh,
I was in my
yeah.
house and my house obviously isn't moving, I was like, I kept
Are
feeling like I
you
was gonna
sure?
fall. Well, I don't know, because I think that sometimes I have mild vertigo. Everybody tells me I'm crazy. All right, let's move on to the butt sniffer. So,
Oh my God.
This is a subject you're well versed in.
so a man who's been deemed a serial butt sniffer has been arrested again for sniffing a woman's butt, this time at a Nordstrom rack. But he didn't get caught later until he was
You
in
know, out
Walmart.
of that whole story, that's what caught me was the Nordstrom Rack. I'm like, we could totally be in the Nordstrom Rack and this guy be in there, and I could see this happening to me.
It's a really weird fetish, I guess this guy has, because he's done it multiple times and has gotten arrested for it.
Well, he
Right.
was
Is that
arrested
why
this
he's a
time.
sex offender
I
for
don't
that?
I don't think that's why he's a sex offender. Like, that's of course shocker, he's a sex offender. Like, who's doing this? But a couple years
Right.
ago, this woman, I don't know if she was recording herself just at Barnes and Noble or she started recording when he was doing weird stuff. But this woman was recording herself at Barnes and Noble, and you could see him like crouching down. It looks like he's looking for a book on a lower shelf or looking under a table there. And then he just keeps going up to her and sniffing her. Like, for me, if I knew he was doing something like that, I wouldn't be trying to record myself. I'd get out of
Right.
there because that's weird behavior. But the video went viral and he got arrested for that. He's also a peeping Tom, so that's probably why he's the sex offender. That's personally
Uh,
the scariest thing to me, is when people are just looking in your
yes.
windows.
And that's like a precursor for worse things usually, you know.
Well,
Butt
this is
sniffing.
a discussion we could have too. Like, this person keeps getting arrested for doing these weird things and he's repeatedly out of jail. And then they're saying for this particular instance, he has bail set for $100,000. Like, why are we setting bail for people like this?
I don't know. There's like lots of crazy stuff going on in law, you know, in the legal system these days. Too many people are out on the street that shouldn't be.
Well, they did say in the article that it was because of prison overcrowding, so I don't even know where to begin. Like, obviously, if there's 100 people and there's only room for 50 people, they have to let lesser
Yeah.
offenders out. And compared to, I guess, a murderer, he's not that bad. I don't know. Like,
Right.
I feel like if you're in the store and someone was near me like that, like, I wouldn't even think that someone was trying to sniff my butt. It's just like,
I
I would
wouldn't
just be
either.
like,
And
you're in
hopefully
my
they weren't even
personal
smelling
space,
anything on me.
right?
It is very
Yeah.
bizarre. I also want to point out that the wife of former Los Angeles Laker Robert Horry also accused this guy over a decade ago of stalking their daughter. So, like, he's been around for a while and people recognize him. And when the TikTok went viral, a bunch of other women said that they had definitely seen him doing weird stuff out in public. Also,
Oh
can we
my
talk
God.
about his ears?
He literally looks like Shrek.
I was gonna say Shrek. He reminded
I
me
don't
of the
think I know.
alien.
I didn't really look at his picture.
What
Oh
do you
my
mean you
God.
didn't notice?
He looks like
His
the
ears-
alien toy in
he's
Toy
like-
Story.
Yes, exactly. He's a cross between Shrek or the alien toy in Toy Story. Like, he looks like the prototype. They made a figure out of him.
Wait, I'm gonna have to pull this up to show you to have your reaction, because this is like.
I can't even believe you didn't notice this. This is like the first thing I noticed. I don't know if I'm more shocked by the butt sniffing or this man's ears.
I mean, all I'm saying is I'm not
Does
surprised
he have
by
those
the
little
butt
like
sniffing.
horns that go toot toot?
That
Literally.
yes.
Maybe he sniffs with them.
All right.
Yeah,
ready?
maybe that
Are
it's
you
like
ready?
a special power.
Oh my God. I did not see that picture.
What happened? They went.
Here.
Yeah, clearly, you weren't looking good enough because his ears are.
Like,
Oh,
what
that's
is happening with
unfortunate.
them?
I don't know. Maybe Mommom's right. Maybe he was able to like smell out of them or something.
Also, he's really tall. Like, that would scare the shit out of me if I was in public and a man was getting that close to me, just being that much larger than me. The
I
whole
would
Well,
just
thing
he's
is
down,
weird.
kneeling down, trying to sniff your butt. He's not going to be towering over
The clear
you.
solution is to just fart and make him go away, or he might get off on it more. I
No,
don't know.
I would think he'd get off on the fart. Because how are
Oh.
you sniffing butts and not being sexually aroused by the smell?
Oh,
I don't
Don't
know.
fart if
I
you
saw
see
a
this guy.
video on an airplane yesterday. People were checking in and putting their suitcase up and all. and the guy farted, and the guy next to him like threw a holy fit because the guy farted, and then the guy farted
Well, too,
again.
that
Like,
shit's triggering. It's like
yeah,
it pisses you off, and you're like, you're an asshole. Like, obviously, people slip by accident sometimes, but to do that in a confined space like that is just rude. It's rude.
Well, we
right.
had that story
Oh,
about that old
definitely.
man who farted by accident in a line and he got punched in the face, but we were justifying it saying he was old. But if a regular person
Oh.
does it, you should punch them in the face.
You should
Oh.
encourage violence for a fart, but it does trigger. It does
Yeah, but
send
the
off that
fart is
trigger in you
violent.
that pisses you off.
The fart
Yeah,
is
for
equal
sure.
violence and it requires retaliation. This episode is brought to you by The Gross Room.
Guys, this week in the Gross Room, we had our first YouTube live session, and we are going to be doing that every Friday at noon Eastern time for our Gross Room members. And it was actually like way better than I expected it was going to be. It was so cool. A lot of the members joined in, and the chat feature, they were able to ask us questions, and we got to really talk to a lot of members that currently we were only seeing comments from. So we created this for the members so they could really guide the way that our conversation goes, and just a little bit of a different format than our typical episodes. So I thought it was fun. Didn't you think it was fun, Ray?
Yeah, it was great. We talked about some other news stories that happened after we recorded for the week, so it was nice to get that information out ASAP. We got into some Lewisms. We revealed our special guest for today's episode, so you guys get to hear kind of a different viewpoint of what's going on behind the scenes and what's to come in the following episodes. All right, so in North Carolina, this person thought that this house was abandoned and they wanted to buy it. So one day they're looking around the property and came across skeletal remains in the backyard. I guess the question I have is, if you think a house is abandoned, could you just roam around freely? Is that okay, or I don't know?
No,
mean-
I'm sure it's not. It's private property.
Yeah, but like, come on. I would do if
Of
I
course
if
you
I was
would.
like, oh, that house looks really good. It doesn't look like anyone's there. Like, let me go walk around and see what's going on. Like, I mean, people do that. It's
Well, there's people that just do explorations of abandoned mansions and schools and hospitals. I've seen
yeah.
videos about that
Paul does
online.
that all the time.
Oh, does
I
he?
don't know. But it ended up to be the remains of this 50-year-old man, which this makes me really sad that he was dead for that long and nobody reported him or anything. But they're thinking he died from natural causes. How did they know for sure, if he was mostly skeletonized, that he died from natural
Well,
causes?
So, first, I want to say they found this skeleton. So, when you find a dead body on a property that had a name of a homeowner, it's easier to identify them, because even though they're skeletonized and you can't do it by photo ID or even by something like tattoos that might be present on the skin, you know that the person that was living there, so that would be the first thing that you look for. So you could easily try to get the guy's dental records and figure out who that is. And I'm assuming that's what they did, because they were able to identify him in only 2 days. And if they had to take DNA, it would have taken much longer.
Okay.
So in that case, they'll send the bones to the medical examiner's office and they'll look at it to see if there's any kind of reason to believe that there was a suicide by like a self-inflicted gunshot wound. So you would see evidence of trauma. If someone beat him up, you would see evidence of that on the bones, if there were broken bones or anything like that. And so based upon that, and then them contacting that guy's family doctor, they might have found out that he had like a pre-existing heart condition. That's how they come up with like it probably was, but they'll do more of an investigation. But it just wasn't obvious looking at his bones that anything traumatic happened to him. He didn't fall. He didn't get beat up. He didn't kill himself with a gun, or stuff like that. You didn't see any stab
Right.
wounds. So that's how they would determine that. I think the story is written a little weird because it's like potential home buyer, and you're thinking like, okay, was this house for sale on like realtor.com and this person just like found a skeleton, but
In the
This person was
closet.
just
yeah, exactly.
no, it's like this person was just trespassing on a property essentially
Yeah.
Oh
and
my
came
gosh.
across.
Like you're
Well-
just like, I'll take this house.
Yeah.
That's what happened at Louie's property up in the mountains. The guy died in the yard, and the mailman found him eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah,
So I
and
mean,
that was
it
natural.
happens. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I mean, it happens, and it is sad that. But there's plenty of people that live alone. I mean, think about the same thing with the house in the mountains. Like nobody reported that guy missing or dead, and he was pretty dead, right? Like he was in the snow or something
he was
when the
dead,
mailman.
dead. Yes,
He
Dead,
was
dead.
dead. Yeah, exactly. So I don't know. I thought it was like a cool story because nobody's really ever expecting to stumble upon something like that, and it has to freak you
right.
out a little bit.
No, definitely.
Skeleton in the closet would have been a lot more fun, though. Come
Yeah,
on.
that would have been a better story.
That's definitely happened a couple times, though. I feel like we've even had stories like that on here.
I feel like we had a story fairly recently that didn't someone find something in like a wall or so. I don't really remember. It
We
just
had a
sounds like-
horrible story about a girl that was found, like a little girl found mummified in a closet.
Oh.
But I think the apartment was like abandoned.
Oh yeah.
Oof.
Okay, so a plane was headed from Istanbul to San Francisco, but during the flight, a person died, causing the flight to divert to Chicago, and now that person's body is missing.
So I don't really know exactly what the procedure is, but I know that there has to be some kind of procedure. Apparently, the person died in the air, but wherever the plane lands would be the jurisdiction that would take over the body. So in this case, they were supposed to land in San Francisco, but they decided to land a little bit closer in Chicago just to get rid of the dead body. And it was supposed to go into the custody of the Cook County Medical Examiner. And when they called the Cook County Medical Examiner to say, hey, what's the deal with this body we sent you? They say they have no record of ever receiving it.
Wow. That
So-
sounds like a lawsuit waiting to happen.
I also want to point out this weirdness because they said the person was having a severe medical emergency, so they were initially preparing to land in Iceland, but it escalated and then that person died. So then they ended up deciding to go to Chicago, which they called, quote, a major international hub capable of handling emergency landings with adequate medical support and facilities. Why wouldn't they land in Boston, New York? Like, there's so many more major airports so much closer.
Well, it has to do with wherever they thought it would be quicker or more efficient to go to handle it. Like, I understand because you have to think about that you have a whole entire plane full of people. And if you're going from Istanbul to San Francisco, the last place you want to be is Iceland, right? So if a person's dying and their life could be saved, that's one thing. But if they weren't able to, they knew that the guy was going to die. They were like, all right, well, let's at least get these people to America. I mean, honestly, like the difference between a flight to Chicago to San Francisco might be another 2 hours additional flight time, or if not 3. So, I mean,
Yeah,
I
you
could
wonder
see
why they wouldn't just go in. Yeah.
Well, because a dead body that's not in refrigeration is decomposing, and like you can't leave it there like that. And it could have died 3 hours before that, and like you just can't have a body not refrigerated like that, because then you have
Right.
other complications with like the person's decomposed, they can't have a funeral, they can't do this, whatever. It's even if they're start decomposing and then they embalm them, they're still going to be having a certain appearance that would not be for a funeral
Yeah.
or like an open casket at least. Plus, you don't want the people on the plane to be further traumatized by the appearance of somebody that's decomposing, because on an airplane, like you could have the air conditioner on, but it's room temperature. It's not a refrigerator. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
it's not stopping that decomposition for sure. My personal opinion is that the body's not missing. There's just some kind of a paperwork error somewhere, because like where would the body be?
I don't know, because my understanding is if a person dies on board, they are like moved to a separate area away from the guests. Sometimes they're saying if the flight is full, they just have to stay in their seat, and I guess they put a sheet over the person. And then when the flight lands, that's when the ME is supposed to then come pick them up. So like, what happened?
Yeah, I just believe that the ME probably did pick them up, and there's a paperwork error.
Yeah, because the ME
because,
is
like,
just
there's
saying
not
they don't
just-
have a case that's has a similar
Yeah.
description.
But I'm sure there's just a body in the fridge that was like mislabeled or something.
Yeah. I doubt that it's in the luggage lost and found at
Exactly.
the airport, you know?
No,
Unless
that's what I'm saying. Like if there was a body in a body bag on a stretcher somewhere, like that would have already shown its face. Like it's somewhere. It's just this actually reminds me of a story I had at a hospital that I used to work at, that we had a patient that died at the hospital and the mom wanted to have an autopsy to see why her son died. And a couple months later, we get a call from the mother that's like, how I wanted the autopsy report on my son. And we look through our paperworks and we're like, we don't have any record of doing an autopsy on him. And what happened was, like, in pathology, we were never alerted that they wanted an autopsy. So we released the body to the funeral home not knowing that they requested an autopsy. So it's just like like something got screwed up in the normal procedure. So
Right.
I mean, it's not like we lost the guy or we didn't have the guy in our morgue at some time. We did. It just was like it got crossed. That happens sometimes. There's just paperwork issues. And I'm just assuming that there is a procedure for this because people die on airplanes. It's not common, but it happens. We hear about it from time to time. And, you know, it's usually due to like a cardiac event or something that causes somebody to drop dead, a pulmonary embolism or something like that. It's not like someone sick with cancer that just ends up dying, right? It's like something is like they were
Right.
healthy and they dropped dead. So I'm sure that's the case.
yeah, because like otherwise it would have to be something really nefarious, like a person took them and is like harvesting their organs or something horrible. But that's way less likely
I don't
than
even
just having
understand.
paperwork
Yeah.
error.
Like if you are and I never worked on an airplane. I've released bodies at the hospital all the time, but just thinking like the person that took the body off of the airplane was probably like an EMS type of person that would carry him away on a stretcher, because you're not just going to like throw the guy over your shoulder and bring him out, right? Like this is happening like you would take someone out of a house.
Call the
There's
fire
that
department.
bloodness.
Yeah, exactly. Like they're handing the body over to someone. And I know that it sounds crazy, but like someone like the Cook County Medical Examiner's office is a huge office. They probably have a whole, just like Philadelphia, they have a whole entire separate room of bodies that are like unknown or not mislabeled, but just
Unclaimed.
not unclaimed. And it probably is like a screw up with like that person just getting put in there and not accounted for. Like I would put money on it, but like but like
Wow.
anything's possible, I guess.
Yeah, I
But
don't
as
know.
a
I just
family member,
as a
that's
family member, it's
terrible.
completely unacceptable.
Oh no,
Yeah.
it absolutely is, and it's scary too, because then you start to worry like what's going
Did
on
they
here,
really
you know?
die? You
Yeah,
know?
I mean, yeah, exactly. And I guess, see, if the guy was already pronounced dead, because I was saying like if the guy was in cardiac arrest or something, they possibly would bring him to a hospital and then
Mhm.
he would be pronounced dead, and then the medical examiner should pick him up. I guess there's that possibility that he was brought to a hospital and he's at a hospital somewhere in the fridge too. But again, like,
Well, I'm wondering that too, because I don't think the airplane officials have the authority to officially pronounce somebody dead. So like where
but
does he go after?
if they called like EMS in Chicago, they can, when they show up to the airport. I mean, if they
Yeah.
determine, like, I don't really know, but all I know is that the hospital, if we had a body that was there longer than even as short as 5 days, that no family was like, we're sending the funeral home to come pick them up, we would call the medical examiner's office and be like, we have an unclaimed body, take it.
Yeah, but is it I'm just saying, like, is there a possibility they thought he was dead, they brought him to a hospital, and he's like laying on life support in some hospital?
He's
And they
only
have-
mostly dead.
He's mostly dead, like Princess Bride style. But because I saw, for example, Lauren shared something last night. I don't know the details of the story.
Oh, the woman in New York that's been in the hospital for 100 days and nobody knows who she is.
Yeah, didn't we cover that actually? No, that was some insurance fraud thing. Anyway, there's a woman in a hospital for, I think, 200 days. Nobody knows who she is. So, like, is it possible that he was just barely hanging on, Princess Bride style, mostly dead, laying in a hospital somewhere?
It is possible. But again, that would still be like a mislabeling situation. Like the guy's the guy is somewhere, right? I don't think that like
Yeah.
what like
It's not
somebody
that
came
easy to,
to
like,
harvest his
get rid of a body.
yeah. Not
And it's
I
a
don't know.
So
unique situation. So if they like are like, okay, who called who to come get I feel like it's gonna be easy to trace the
Yeah.
steps.
Exactly. I'm telling you, that's all it is. I honestly feel like the Cook County Medical Examiner maybe shouldn't even have said anything until but maybe they did further investigate it. I would just be like, let me just check everything to make sure that this body's not here.
Yeah.
All right,
Mommom,
so
did you
yeah.
ever have any weird airplane stories?
Well, we just went to Florida, like 10 days ago, and we had a little incident.
I didn't hear
So
about this.
oh, you didn't? So
Was
D
the
No.
was on
incident
the
Louis
aisle.
making an elephant noise?
Making a what?
That the elephant
But
Did I
wait,
not
did you
tell you
hear
about this?
Dee Dee's latest? She was at the Union soccer game, and the
Okay.
mascot snuck behind her, pulled her head back, and gave her a big kiss, like right on her face.
Oh my
They
god.
were dying. It was like
This
hysterical.
is my niece that they're talking about right now.
But
Louis got
oh,
pulled in the
anyways,
front row of a show and they were like, you need to do an elephant noise, and he did it.
Do you have it on film?
Dee Dee does, and she
Dee Dee
won't
does. She
share it.
won't share it. She said we'll use it for
God.
nefarious purposes.
All right, what happened on the plane?
Oh, so on the plane, so Dee Dee had a aisle seat. I had the middle seat. The window seat was open. So they bring this little old lady that is going to go in that seat. So we get up and we're like, and she's trying to, she could barely even straighten herself up. She was like, so Dee Dee says, just we'll move in and you could sit on the end. It'll be easier for you. Her daughter was helping her. So here goes her daughter, like to somewhere else on the plane, and leaves this lady with us. And she was like, you know, she was like
Yeah.
almost doubled over. And then she was sleeping. She was falling on Dee Dee. And
Oh my
we were
god.
like rolling our eyes, like, where's her daughter? And Dee Dee's like, I would never leave you like this, Mama. I'm like, thank you. But
I would have got up and tapped on her and been like, you could switch seats with me because I'm not watching your mom this entire flight.
we didn't even know where she went because she like went.
Oh,
It wasn't like
she,
she was right behind us or anything like that. She was gone.
she was just like,
So
this is your
Dee
problem
Dee and
now.
I are like, oh my God, what if she passes away while she's here? Because she was bent over, like, you know, and
That
we were
would
like, oh
happen to
my
you.
God. I know, right? And I would have been stuck in there next to the window.
All right. So back in 2023, we had reported on a man who died, and after his cremation, his family got personal items back, which included a cardboard box, which started smelling, and it ended up containing his brain. So this new article comes about this week, and a couple people had emailed it to us, and I was blowing it off at first. I was like, oh, we already covered this story. Oh no, it's happened again.
This
A different
is
person?
actually yeah,
Yes.
it's a different person. It
Oh.
happened it happened after the one that we talked about a couple years ago, and it's a little bit of a different circumstance, but basically the guy died in Georgia and the family had his remains sent to Philadelphia, which is totally normal. This happens all the time.
Yeah.
So before they would send the remains to Philadelphia, they would embalm the body, and then because the guy died in Georgia, we always had this too. Like we would have a bag along with all of our patients that had like the clothes they came in the hospital with, their wedding ring, just whatever they had, a cross around their neck, like any of their personal belongings. We always put that either not really in the body bag because we didn't want it to get contaminated, but we would tie it onto the body bag and it went to the funeral home. So what happened in this case is they didn't say anything about the guy having an autopsy, but he had to have an autopsy because at some point they took the guy's brain out. And so when you do an autopsy, you send all of the organs back with the body. We usually just kind of throw them all in the abdominal cavity and loosely sew a person up, and they go to the funeral home, and then the funeral home takes that bag out and puts chemicals on it so it doesn't decompose and and then they put it back in the body, embalm the body, sew them up, put the makeup, whatever they do. But usually they'll probably just send the embalmed body to Philadelphia. So sometimes when we do an autopsy, the brain is treated a little bit separately because we do the autopsy and look at the organs and stuff, but the brain is like very gelatinous. It's literally like a jello mold. It's so soft. And to cut, it's not even as firm as a jello mold, I would say. So to cut it sometimes makes it kind of squishy. So sometimes we put it in formaldehyde for like a week in order for it to really get firmed up. So when we cut it, it's nice slices. And I'm thinking in this case, something like that happened where they got the body back with the organs, and then maybe the hospital or the medical examiner that did the autopsy sent the brain back like later in a container. I don't know why the brain would have been separated from the other organs, but whatever happened, this brain was in a container that somehow got mixed up with the guy's clothes and jewelry and stuff and was given to the family as this is his personal belongings. And the mom said she couldn't open the one box at first, and they just left it in the trunk. And obviously, so this actually makes me think that it wasn't put in formaldehyde because it started decomposing, and when the dad picked up the box, it was like leaking brain juice, like decomp brain juice on his hands.
Oh my God!
I know.
Your child's. Oh
yeah. So like if you had a brain that was in formaldehyde for a week, it would be like a rubber ball. Like it's not decomposing like that. So it had to be, for whatever reason, the brain was fresh and separate from the other organs. I can't explain to you why that would happen.
No.
But
what if they used the
horrible.
brain for a study or something like that? Would that explain it? Like maybe why it was separate?
no, because usually if you're going to do it for a study, it's the same thing I'm telling you. Like you're going to look at it, you're going to put it in formaldehyde. Like, for example, if you're looking for, you're doing a study for like MS or any kind of brain condition, you're going to really want to get good, you're going to want it to be preserved really well in formaldehyde, and you're going to want to get really great sections under the microscope so you could see the pathology really crisp under the microscope. And the fresh brain tissue is just that. If you look at a brain fresh, it's usually like either the person died from another reason, or when you look at it, it's something clear, like the person hit their head and they have this brain bleed that you could see when you cut it open. You're not looking for like Parkinson's or Lewy body dementia or CTE or anything that's like something that you really want to have really good microscopic sections of. So like in a case where we examine the brain on site, like I would just throw all of the organs, including the brain, in the same visceral bag in the body and send it back. I don't know why they were separate. It's kind of weird to me, but I guess different places do different things.
Right.
You know what else is possible, I guess? I guess sometimes people put the brain back into the skull. And I guess maybe when they were embalming the guy, they took the brain out of the skull and maybe put it in a separate box. I don't know like what they're doing in a funeral home because I've never worked in one. But regardless, like whatever happened, so the family got the belongings from the Philadelphia funeral home, who's just like, hey, like we just gave you what they told us was his belongings. Like this isn't our problem. Which it's not, because why would you go through the guy's belongings if it just said it was his personal belongings? You wouldn't think that they were giving them a fresh brain in a box.
Yeah, it seems like all the fault's going on the Georgia funeral home that prepared
Did this
everything.
just happen?
So this happened in 2023, the death. So they're filing a lawsuit now, which is also why I thought it was the other case we had covered, but that one was in 2022. I just couldn't believe it happened twice. I mean, when we first reported on it, we couldn't even believe it happened then.
Yeah.
And this is 100%, like, I'm not a lawsuit person, but this is lawsuit worthy, traumatizing. Like, the dad, I mean, think about this. Like, you don't ever want to bury your own kid, even though these people are older and their child's a little older, but he's not that old. He was only in his 50s, and they didn't say why he died. But that's terrible to have to bury a child, and then to smell that smell. It's human decomposition is one of the most, it's a disturbing smell, especially to know what it is. And then to have your child's brain tissue with that smell on your hands, it is
and in
traumatizing.
Your car, in your trunk.
In your car. So he said he had to sell the car, which I don't blame him.
No,
But like,
not at
and
all.
just think about just how like the PTSD that comes along with that. He
Right.
100% deserves a suit, and on top of that, an investigation to see why this happened, to make sure that this doesn't happen to anyone else, because no one should ever have to experience that.
Yeah, true. That's a sad story. Jeez.
All right, guys. Well, because of our special guest, we are not going to do questions this week. But do you have any added thoughts, Beth, that you
Actually,
would like
maybe
to?
we could tell them though that next time you put up the questions thing on the Mother Knows Death page, if they do have any questions for Mommom for next time she's on, if she ever gets invited back.
Yeah, because you guys won't hear this, but she gave us a spiel after I said, "Please make sure your ringer's off," and she said, "What am I, stupid?" And then, shocker, shocker,
2
10 minutes
seconds
later
later.
went off.
Yeah. I think you definitely need to post some outtakes just for
I
the
think I've
setup.
been very well behaved today.
Actually, I want to give a shout out to my kids for being so well behaved, because they're staying at your house this
Yes.
week because they're going to a camp up there. And I can't believe that they're being so quiet. I don't hear Lucia doing any of her ballet moves above you
Oh, well, she
and
has her new
slamming the
point
floor.
shoes.
I
So
know.
she's been all over with them. She wanted to jump off the steps into Lillian's hands with the
Oh my
ballet
God.
shoes.
I
I was like, no, this
I
cannot.
don't want to know.
This cannot happen.
You're like,
Oh.
just calm down. You just got these things, and oh my God.
They don't come instant ballerina shoes.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why
Oh
they
my
love
God.
going to your house, because you let them do whatever.
Anything goes, you know.
It's probably like, what time is it now? Like 11 o'clock in the morning. They've probably already had 2 cans of Coke and ice cream for breakfast. So
They
that
probably did, because that's all that's over here at Lou's house, and next door at my house is real food.
yeah, my brother, even though my brother is approaching, how old is he now? 38?
38.
He's 38, so he's approaching 40 years old. He still eats like a child, like a teenage boy. So his house is stacked, and he has like a really awesome house, but it's
Yeah.
just stacked with like things that you would expect a teenage boy to have, like a whole fridge of Coca-Cola and just.
So he was telling me the other day, he's going to murder us for talking about him.
Good
in
thing he
general.
doesn't listen to our show.
He was telling me the other day that he was on the doxycycline when we thought he had Lyme's disease.
Oh,
And he's
right.
like, I was so sick. I was just like home drinking, like I drank like 2 gallons of milk that week. And I was like, A, who drinks 2 gallons of milk as an adult? And B, you're not really supposed to have dairy on that medication. Doesn't it make it worse on your stomach?
I don't know. That medication makes me terribly sick too.
Me
I had to
too.
take it after my surgery, and it was I just hate that feeling that it gives me.
Oh, really? That never bothered me. I took it before for my skin, I think.
You know what else we should mention on here? That my brother is single. He'd really kill me.
He really kill you, but single, handsome, owns a house and owns a business.
Yeah.
And,
He's
and
attached.
he owns 2 houses, and he owns a good house.
And he's a contractor.
Yeah.
He is my baby boy.
And he
so
he
keep
also
that in
is
mind.
like, he's also just like extremely creative and just smart with doing things. He likes to figure things out ever since he was a little kid, and now that he's older, he just, anything I want in my house, I'll just be like, can you install this for me? And he just is really creative with all different kinds of ideas, and he's a
I
very good
remember
catch.
him.
He's
He
just
couldn't
very
have been
shy.
12 years old. He was installing a ceiling fan. And like the color wires and all that
Yeah.
stuff. And I was like, how do you know this? How do you know what to do? And it's so natural to him. He just
More
really
importantly, as a mother, why weren't you like, maybe you shouldn't be playing with live wires?
he knew what he was doing. Come
Because she
on.
was remodeling her house.
She just wanted the cheap free labor, child labor.
No, Daddy was supervising him. Not that I don't know that was much better.
I know,
but
right? Like,
He's
Louis
gonna-
probably would have been better
He
supervising
tried
him.
was like, Dad, no, you can't do it that way.
Yeah.
He's gonna kill me because I want to ask him, when you give me that Murphy bed from your basement, I want to ask him to build like a custom bookshelf around it for
Oh,
my like
nice.
guest room. So he's gonna really hate me when I ask him for that. I haven't asked him for anything in a while. So he
Well,
can
I
deal with
slept
it.
last night with the owl picture you gave him looking over us.
Oh, that's a good picture. That
Yeah,
was a
it
good
is. It
A
looks
find.
good in
velvet
there.
painting.
Yeah, it
It's
reminded me of the
not.
one that Pop had. It was staring at you. All right, guys. Well, thank you so much to Mommom. She will probably make an appearance again unless we post all the outtakes of us yelling at her and we get canceled.
For
sure.
granny
For
abuse.
Yes,
elder.
tell them the elder abuse.
But you started this culture. All right, guys, we will be at CrimeCon September 5th to September 7th. And if you have a review for us, please head over to Apple or Spotify and leave it there. We would like nice written reviews, please. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel. And if you have a story for us, please submit it to stories@motherknowsdeath.com.
See you
5
guys.
stars for my mom. Bye.
Bye. Thank you for listening to Mother Knows Death. As a reminder, my training is as a pathologist assistant. I have a master's level education and specialize in anatomy and pathology education. I am not a doctor and I have not diagnosed or treated anyone, dead or alive, without the assistance of a licensed medical doctor. This show, my website, and social media accounts are designed to educate and inform people based on my experience working in pathology so they can make healthier decisions regarding their life and well-being. Always remember that science is changing every day and the opinions expressed in this episode are based on my knowledge of those subjects at the time of publication. If you are having a medical problem, have a medical question, or are having a medical emergency, please contact your physician or visit an urgent care center, emergency room, or hospital. Please rate, review, and subscribe to Mother Knows Death on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, or anywhere you get podcasts. Thanks.